back of the van. Hello and welcome to the back of the van. We're here with Dal Worster. Am I saying that right? It is
Worcester.
Worcester.
Yeah,
Worcester.
Worcester.
It's not Worcester, is it? It's
No,
Worcester. I'm here with Dal Worster. Dal is a fireman for Essex Fire Brigade. Was also the captain of the Essex Fire Brigade rugby team. Was also very much involved in the same rugby circle as myself. And yeah, Dal's on a day off today, so we come out with us construction sport to have a little chinwag and see what we get up to on a daily basis. And it's a big area of what I want to push into in terms of showing the construction world all about the fire service and also paramedic service, the military service, all these other services and what they have in place to deal with, quite simply, the shit that they see on a day-to-day basis. It's all about, I think, from a construction point of view, that we don't actually have a clue of how to deal with stuff when we come across it, and the fire brigade and all the other emergency services are very much aware that you're going to come across stuff you don't want to see, are you? But my one with it is very much when we look at riddles, not just suicides and that, but when we look at riddles and the incidents and accidents that do happen, they are horrific. And when these horrific incidents happen, we ring 999 quite naively and just expect someone else to look after it, and that's when you come in.
Yeah,
so that's my one with it, Dale, is so how are you?
Yeah, not bad. Nice to have a day off.
Nice.
Although I'm on nights tonight, so yeah.
Oh yeah, in tonight.
Yeah, in tonight.
Couple of hours out.
Yeah.
And we've got to get back for the kids
Yeah.
shortly. But so fire brigade service, how long have you been part of the service?
15 years now.
Have you?
I've been in 15 years, yeah. Since the last 4 years, I've gone through the promotion thing where I've gone from being a crew manager, from a firefighter to a crew manager. Now I'm a watch manager. So obviously the welfare of my watch pretty much falls on me. Then I have to obviously follow a trim process, which is obviously what we spoke about earlier. The biggest thing is, like when you was just doing your introduction there, is that when you are a firefighter, you know what you're going to, right? Because you have the tip sheet that comes out and explains what's going on. You're a paramedic, you know what you're going to. You join the military, you know you will go to Afghanistan. You kind of can play out in your head what you're going to come across. When you're a chippy, you think you're going to go and fit wood, use nails, use tools. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're exposed, or what you think you're going to be exposed to is not what you could be exposed to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can touch on a couple of experiences. I had an instance we had last year where we had a forklift fall on someone. That guy's got in a car with someone, gone to work, and although that incident has happened and that the ripple effect of that ripping through the family, the business, and stuff like that, that guy now is going home on his own. Do you know what I mean? Who looks after that? Do you know what I mean? Like with the service, we've all got a duty of care, and like the duty of care, like I say, falls on me at watch level, and as it gets bigger, the duty of care becomes a service thing.
Yeah.
Where and how do you make that fit into the construction industry? And that's a bit of a mine shell, I imagine, like a minefield, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
Who's gonna pick that up? Is it going to be the companies? Is it going to be a massive part of HSE to be put into place? I mean, what happens on building sites now? Is it part of the introduction with the HSE and stuff like that?
I've seen it from there's nothing to you get a day off, you get given a day off, but you're unpaid, so you get a day off but you're paid. There's no standard to it from what I've seen or heard. There may be something out there, but like I say, what's actually been implemented is a different kettle of fish. But yeah, and then between contractors, and I think it always goes back to who's ultimately in the courts. I suppose it goes back to the main contractor of the job, but ultimately the shit rolls downhill in the end, and it is what you're doing for the people, what you're doing for your company, and they ask every company in that supply chain what are they doing for the people.
Yeah.
And on paper they say they're doing plenty, and then when it actually gets down to that person who's involved in that incident, they're actually doing fuck all.
But it all starts off at step one, doesn't it? Are you making it comfortable enough for that employee to come up to you and go, I'm struggling, and I'm struggling with this.
Yeah.
So look, the thing that kind of entered my head on these instances I've had on construction sites last year was the pressure. Now, the trench collapse job I had, so that trench still has to be dug. That job has to continue in order for the person who owns that company to get their money. So how much pressure is on those guys that have just seen one of their guys like
Yeah.
die, like to come back to work next day? Do you know what I mean? No, I still need you to come back to work.
And that trench was collapsed. They've got to dig that trench back out because the services.
Same trench, same digger. Everything's the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And again, going back to that travelling to and from, they're one man down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so we're quite lucky in the fire service with respect to, yeah, we do see some horrible things, and like I said, you kind of know what's coming. But after, you do have that kind of time around what we call like the mess table, where you'd all chat about what you've seen. Do you know what I mean? And I call it a bit of a decompression. And anything after that, like as far as I'm concerned, the rest of the day is done. You go and do whatever you've got to do to decompress after we've had our little bit of a debrief, if you like. And then I'd kind of call people out like, you know, how you doing with it, kind of thing. And it's an ongoing thing because you'll notice changes in people's persona and stuff like that. But
yeah, you're saying that actually. It always took me back actually when you say about you see the change in people completely away from construction. But we see a big incident on the mountain skiing before. 2 people collided heads, and one was coming at speed, and the other one didn't know it was going to happen. And a helicopter come down for both of them, took them all both away. They're both in horrific situations, and we never noticed this day what happened. But that was the last day of our holiday, and I think it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We just finished lunch at skiing. We was due to ski for the rest of the afternoon, and we all just looked at each other and said, should we call it a day? And everyone was like, yeah, let's do that. And it was quite moving actually. We've done it. It was a bit like, cool, fucking hell. Like, we don't know. And to this day, we never know. We never know, and you don't see it. You just think the worst, don't you, really? Yeah. But all of us, it is that in the bottom of the stomach. You go, I don't fancy this now. Yeah. I'm signing out for a day. And we're like, we'll wait till next year. Because I think we all knew in a position, I can't actually focus on the job I'm supposed to be doing. And that is just skiing this afternoon.
Yeah, of course,
I can't focus on it. Yeah,
well, no, and that's something that you would normally find fun.
Yeah.
Right? And all of a sudden, that fun's just gone from that, and you need another way to kind of bounce back, if you like, to get back to that mindset of, right, tomorrow I'll go skiing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which is obviously what sport. What I was going to say was, so that's at fireground level, but we've obviously got in the job like FIs, like fire investigators.
Yeah.
So I've been on jobs where we've had to leave people in situ, like following a fire. That fire investigator's now gone in on his own. Now he's in the car on his own. He doesn't ride with an appliance. He isn't tied to a station where he's got 12 people around him. He's on his own. Do you know what I mean? But again, we've got that trim thing in place where he is in a safe space. He can talk to people. I mean, I always invite him back, come back to the station, come and have a cup of tea. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Chat about it, or unload, because that's what you're doing. You're talking about it, you're unloading a little bit of those things. But yeah, if you've got that.
I think the one again, because I suppose where you guys are prepared to a certain degree to know what you're going into, and I almost feel like because construction, as you mentioned as well, we don't know what we're going to see a lot of the time when it does happen. That we probably don't have those decompression times. Or
you ain't got that technique.
No, and the boys don't. And the only thing to do is just crack on. Crack on. And I've seen it in guys who, I know guys who only work night shifts because they can't sleep at night. They'll literally go out of work because they can only sleep in the daytime, and there's literally because they're terrified of being in the dark, like asleep. And it's everywhere, and it's just like it's rife, especially in construction side of it. It's fucking so wrong, but I think the little things that we can learn from obviously what you guys are doing is where we've got to be, because as well with constructions. In construction, I know for sure there's a massive shortage in health and safety consultants across the country, and everything about mental health and getting into the workplace has been stuck on the health and safety guy's shoulders. Yeah, it's like, hang on a second, everyone's already saying he's massively under pressure from his job. In terms of pressure in his mental health, you're now going to stick the whole responsibility.
And then who looks after him?
Who looks after him? Yeah. And then you see that with the mental health first aid course, what got implemented, and is now proven there is evidence out there to show that it hasn't made any difference, and statistics has only got worse. But who's looking after these people? Put their head on the parapet to be a mental health first aider. And the people and myself, I've done the course twice, and I put my head out there to do that course because I've had my own issues in the past, and I wanted to understand it a bit more. And from what I hear and what I see, a lot of people do it because that same problem. So we're potentially people who've all got our own heads messed up anyway. So it's like, you're passing it on, but having people trained and professional, people know exactly what it's all about, and normalising it a bit, and realising that.
So we've only started like the trim process probably in the last 4 years, I think, in fire service. and we just train people within the service to be practitioners. But it's a military model.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like we've spoke about before about the military ways of decompressing from military life and the stresses of being in the military. They have sport afternoon. I'm not saying everyone shuts down tools on an afternoon.
Yeah.
But having that's why I'm driving it with the fire service, to get sport back into the fire service. You know what I mean, yeah, we've got a football team that's run by one of the firefighters, lovely bloke. We've got now the rugby team that's up and going. We've got 50 people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? 50
There's a need
people.
for it, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not.
Just a want.
And we've also got people on that group or within that setup that don't play, but they like being in that sport group setting.
Yeah.
And having conversations after the game. Like, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And
we see it at the match that we played at Saracens.
Yeah, the guys would sit together, they'll talk about...
But the way, and I always said it, I said we didn't even speak about it, but it was more of a case of when everyone comes and said thank you for the day, you could tell in their eyes. There was more to it than a game of rugby, basically. So, and like I say, we didn't need to talk. Men don't talk very well, and that's probably what we don't do, isn't it? No. But you can give them this opportunity to go and let off a bit of steam. Yeah. And that can help, can't it?
Yeah. And the science has proven it, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Sport, exercise and all that endorphin thing and all that. I mean, I'm no professor, but the endorphin, I know how I feel. Yeah. After a gym session or after playing rugby, I am probably the best version of me. So I've done something, I've got rid of all that frustration or all those bad memories or whatever it is, even if it's only for a few hours. Do you know what I mean?
I get it all the time, and that's why I literally go to speak with people, and they're going, "Oh, what about this though? About this?" and overcomplicating it. I'm like, it's just a kickabout. Just let us have a kickabout. And I think companies and corporate ways, everyone wants to make it look like some massive folder of how we live a construction life. I'm like, it's as simple as just going for a walk. You know what I mean? And it's just being massively, massively overcomplicated. When it's just literally, it's just being human, isn't it? Really, a bit of moral/humanity. Yeah. And the world would be a better place. But we're going to get out across some big jobs over the coming weeks and months. So we'll go out and do it all. I'm going to dress up as a fireman, go down a pole. Yeah. And then it'll be good. There's little things like we mentioned before about, I think, the scenarios in ways. I know some of these companies do it, don't they? Creating these scenarios so you can show people what happens in these situations. And again, like we said earlier about the adrenaline, I suppose, isn't it? And how controlling yourself when certain shit does happen, doesn't it? Really. Yeah. So when you've obviously had it in the past with construction sites. Not going into detail about all what you see, but would you get the phone call that would say it's a construction site? This is this. This is this.
So you'd get a tip sheet, and generally most stations know their own ground. Yeah. And it would say the address, or it would say like the company, then the address, then you kind of put the two and two together. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Or if there's building works going on, it's on that address, and then you'd have like the description of what's going on, very brief. Then you kind of can picture in your mind what you're going to. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Through experience, more than anything. Yeah. And not only just experience from the fire service, but before I was a firefighter, I was a scaffolder. Yeah. So I kind of have that knowledge of what kind of risks are on a building site, much like a chippy would. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Do you have
the same with the railway world as well? So I remember speaking to Craig before. That obviously you need to know the dangers on a railway, don't you? Because I always remember saying to Craig, I think years ago, about the PTS ticket. I got that, and then how they go about it. But very much. It's a process you have to with it in terms of isolations and all that kind of stuff.
So as especially now, like as a firefighter, you have to have quite basic knowledge of pretty much everything. Mm. Do you know what I mean? But in my position now, where I've now got to commit people to things and stuff like that, my knowledge has got to be that little bit more. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? But as you can imagine, as the world's turning over so quick at the minute, electric cars, of course, it almost feels like before we've got a new electric car out, we're a bit behind the times, because now we're learning about the first bit of electric, but now there's more. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's and the risks with them are unreal. We've got electric buses now. Do you know what I mean? Now you've got people on these buses where they've got lithium batteries in the top. It's like, God, they're safe. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, but we like fire service. We work in the what if. Don't we? We work in that bracket of the what if. What if that happens? If that happens,
there is a bit of risk there, isn't there? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, that's where we are.
And do you get? I suppose you probably don't get a heads up about this new technology coming, do you? It comes out and you guys have to adapt to it. Or to a certain
Yeah,
degree?
sort of. Yeah, I mean, like,
Is there standards that are brought in from those companies in regards to fire safety, I suppose?
yeah. So we've got really good guys that go out there from like the service that will go and find out as much information as you can. But like when Mercedes started doing the electric cars, it was down to me when I was at my station. We had a Mercedes garage there, so we went to Mercedes, inform us, tell us what you got, and they basically stripped the car off and showed us where to cut, what not to cut.
Really, yeah.
It was really in depth, yeah. And to be fair, it's quite. So anything orange, don't cut orange because orange is electric. This is where the batteries are stored, and we have got like up to date crash data. So we've got a little tablet on the machine where I can type in a reg plate and it'll give me all the information on there.
Oh wow!
Yep. Do you know what I mean? But how up to date that is,
pretty trusting technology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is.
No, obviously we mentioned a few jobs this morning as well, but that's I think getting, especially onto jobs, not even from the point of view from construction and learning from yous, but we've been able to take you onto, especially in Essex, because you look at Essex now, it's booming beyond belief with construction work. The A12, just off the top of my head, A12 M25 Brook Street roundabout is Graham's Construction. 2-3 miles down the road, Morgan Sindall are doing an 8-mile stretch of new roads all along the A12, and carry on just a couple miles along that, Costain are doing a whole widening works that goes right past HQ for Essex Fire or service them. Then you go, if you carry on going down the A12 all the way to Sizewell Power Station, that's outside of Essex, but that's massive stuff going on. And I'd imagine, I could only think actually if something went wrong at Sizewell Power Station, you would probably be brought to it anyway because it's nuclear, so everyone would be sucked in.
Well, Bradwell.
And Bradwell, Bradwell. And then also come over to the A13 side where the river is. Lower Thames Crossing, Balfour Beatty Works is going on beyond belief.
Yeah.
They've been given a go-ahead to that, was fantastic. 1.3 billion pound project. And that tunnel, the tunnel procedures they've got for underneath the river there are the widest tunnels in the UK, I believe, because it's not like a tube tunnel, it's a motorway tunnel, so it's a lot wider. I think it's 2 of them, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to show what we can in the community by engaging yourself with them and bringing them together, so we can literally say, look, if they're halfway under the Thames and saying you guys get a call, there's something gone wrong, you like to know the way in, I suppose, and you have that with Dartford Crossing, you said already, don't you? You have procedures. So yeah, there's definitely a way that I think we can help linking it all together that can literally only bring goodness out of it and to give everyone a bit of a heads up.
Well, it's enriched for everyone, isn't it? So we're learning about what's going on.
Bloody interesting.
New processes that are going on building sites and stuff.
Well,
like
that's
that
it. All this innovation and technology.
Exactly.
It's all good, but
don't want it getting away from us. But I think on the other side of it as well. I mean, I think if I was still on site and I knew that actually the local fire brigade know how to get here, do you know what I mean? Or AMBO know what kind of stuff that they might come across here, whether it's getting stuck in mechanical thing. I know they're going to be here because they know how to get down here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a big thing.
And even to the point, and it's madness really, but it's literally the difference between life and death. But again, trench collapses and things like that, and what do you do straight away? I've worked as a ground worker digging trenches, all depths, deep drainage, done everything from crossroads, a few massive projects as big as they really get. But I've never been told if that trench does collapse, what do we do? Yeah, well, we always had a lot of temporary works in the way, so trench collapsing was always prevented. But what if again?
Yeah.
What should I have done? Should I have then tried to get someone out? Do you try and get it straight away, or? And you know what I mean? You've got a massive 50-ton machine with a bucket there. Do you try and scrape them out? Do you fucking just dig them out and scooter? Who knows? But
and this is the thing with the exposure and training. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't think I could walk onto. Go into Afghanistan because I haven't had that training, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that if so, the trench collapse scenario type thing, the hardest thing for any civilian would be, I know I shouldn't go in there because that could collapse again.
Yeah.
But my mate's in there.
It's a natural instinct.
And then we're talking about the adrenaline again, aren't we?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Does it take hold of you? Or do you walk away from it, then you still got to deal with all them chemicals running around in your body later on when you're now trying to decompress?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But then, what do you do? But no, I think there is so much we can learn from you guys, and I really want to take that to the industry, really, because we're under a shitload of pressure and everything's going wrong from our side of it.
Yeah.
But pleasure. Cheers, Dal. There's be plenty more to come.
Yeah, definitely.
You're going to be a star.
Going to be on a long walk next.
Yes, we are. HS2 Trek. How do you feel? 140 miles in the bag.
I'm quite excited. Yeah,
Adrenaline.
yeah. No, it's a challenge, like, but I'm looking forward to it. I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's good because there'll be people there I don't know. It'd be good for me to mix with other people. Do you know what I mean? And again, talking about that breaking the stigma, I might be able to find someone there that I might be able to unload on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is it's great, but
yeah, there's a few good people coming actually in good projects. One of the boys actually works on Dartford Tunnel full time. So
okay.
Yeah, so you'd have a bit of common ground there. Spot on, Dal. What's up, man? Cheers, pal. Thank you, Dal Worster from Essex Fire Brigade. There we go. We're going to learn a lot, and you're going to see a lot more of Dal. Legend. Take care. Back of the van.